Um, if I'm hunting in a field for ducks, obviously you want to be somewhere where they're already using that. If you're on the X, it makes your life a lot easier. So if you do your scouting beforehand and you find field that the ducks have been using, um, my decoy spread, I would try to set up something that looked very relaxed. A lot of feeders. You don't want a bunch of ducks with their heads up, like on high alert. You want it to be a real relaxed setting, natural looking spread. Because when ducks are using a field, that's a place that they feel comfortable on land and that they're eating. So you want your spread to kind of mimic that same type of real life scenario. When I'm setting up my decoys in the field, obviously the wind is a major factor. I'm always going to set up to have the wind at my back. The birds obviously want to land with the wind in their face. So when you set up that way, that will allow the birds to come land hypothetically right where you want them to go. As far as my decoy pattern goes, I don't really have a set pattern that I use every time. It kind of depends on the situation, and sometimes it even changes throughout the hunt. I'm kind of, I guess some of my hunting buddies would say, infamous for wanting to change the pattern throughout the day if I notice the birds aren't doing exactly what we want them to do. I think you're better off if you set up your pattern and you give the birds a place to land, whether that be an X pattern, a C, a J hook, whatever you need to do to give them that pocket in front of your blinds. If you're hunting them and you're noticing the birds are working your spread, but they just aren't finishing the way you want them to, check the wind again. Make sure your wind didn't change on you, and don't be afraid to get up and make a quick change real quick. Move some decoys around just to give them a different look and see if that changes anything. If not, I've noticed a lot of times you'll just be fighting birds over and over again all day long. Just something's not right. So make that change once, get up and do it, and it might change your hunt for you. When we're hunting in fields, we can use robo ducks and motion decoys and that type of stuff, and they can be very effective, especially in a field. Typically when you're setting out your decoy spread, I would put them in that pocket area to mimic that look of birds landing right there in the spread, and that really does help take the focus off of you and in your blinds and the calling, and puts it on the motion that they're seeing there, and it certainly can work. I would recommend if you're doing a combo hunt for ducks and geese, the geese from my experience don't like the looks of them at all though. So typically if you can get one with a remote control and turn the wings off from moving when you're working geese, we've had a lot of success doing that way. For some reason, at least where I'm at, the geese just don't like the look of that wings moving. What we try to do for the roboducks as far as the height in the ground, we try and, I like to, I'm all about making it look as realistic possible. So if I have multiple roboducks, I'll put one low to the ground, one a little bit higher, and kind of stagger them throughout to give that image from a distance of multiple ducks pitching in and putting in that pocket. I think it just adds to the realism, and the more real you can look, the better off you're going to be.